Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the November 19th, 2024 legislative session of the town of Ossining. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Councilmember Meyer,
Present.
Councilmember Fields Tooel,
Hello, present.
Councilmember Manicchio.
Here.
Councilmember Weiss,
Present.
Supervisor Feldman.
Present.
We have our departmental report by Senior Nutrition Manager, Lynn Muller. Lynn, if you could please go ahead and unmute yourself. Lynn, you can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, Lynn.
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see you.
Hi, everybody. Sorry about that. I always seem to have a problem when I log in here. Anyway, hi, everyone. A couple things happening down at the senior center. We were able to, after our biannual bid, we were able to hire Hubbard's Cupboard again. He's been our caterer for quite a while and everybody's happy with his food. We are having a Thanksgiving dinner, everybody, on November 26th, if anybody'd like to join. The center is a nutrition center. We serve lunch Monday through Friday at 12 o'clock, a hot meal for anybody age 60 and over, if anybody's interested. We are also staffed with 4 bilingual Spanish-speaking people, so we have a big Spanish community also that comes, so they can feel at home there. We've been on a few trips lately to Walmart up in Fishkill, so they got to see the leaves on the way up and they enjoyed that trip very much. They also in the fall went on that historic scavenger hunt around town, and other towns were involved. So they went and visited a few other towns and learned about some of the history of Westchester County, and they really enjoyed that. Also, glad to let you know that we have almost finished spending our grant money, our last federal grant money from HDM 6 and CMC 6. We were able to purchase a new hybrid Chrysler Pacifica, and that's been going great. We also have been able to fully supply our kitchen with plates and glasses and silverware and all that sort of stuff, so we'll be going much more green. Also, we've been able to purchase new office furniture, which I found out today we will be receiving half of the order, the desks, chairs, right after Thanksgiving. And unfortunately, the file cabinets and things like that are being shipped, so there was a delay. And now they won't be delivered to hopefully mid-January, but at least nice comfortable chairs and new desks will be on the way, and we'll have them in a few weeks. So that was something we're very happy about, and that was all through federal grant. We have our classes down at the center. We have some exercise classes that are growing tremendously. A few of them get more than 30 people every week. It's going up more near 40, 45. So it's really spreading and becoming very popular, which in turn gets more people that have not known about our nutrition program involved in our nutrition program. People that came down for the early voting also never knew that some of our services were available, not only with the rec department, but through the town with the seniors. So we've had a lot of inquiries into that. People buying taxi tickets, coming in for lunch, inquiring about the exercise. all that sort of stuff. So we've been very lucky to have that. Everybody seems to be doing well and happy, and we're planning on some good things. I am planning on getting in touch, Liz, with the town historian, and hopefully they'll come and do a presentation for the seniors. I think they'll be interested in that. They really enjoyed that scavenger hunt, learning about history all over Ossining and a few other towns. So we're looking forward to that. And on the 26th also, we had a volunteer come in that goes to the pool and noticed the senior center. And a volunteer to come in on our Thanksgiving meal, which is the 26th, to play music and dance and let the seniors dance and create more of a party atmosphere. So we're looking forward to hearing what he's going to do with that. I think he plays the guitar and he sings and things like that. So that'll be some fun things to do. And other than that, I can't think of it.
It's chair yoga, and what's the other exercise class called?
We have Stay Strong and Fit. We have chair yoga, and we have the line dancing class. Occasionally we bring in another dance teacher or it's a type of dance, but we only have that occasionally because we do have money through a grant that will sponsor that. So we try to spread that out a little bit. They enjoy that. We also have been able to do trips in the past. We're looking forward to doing some more coming up in the future that are through Bethany. Some of their art classes that they do, and through our grant, we pay half and the seniors will pay the other half. So they enjoy, we have a group of them that really enjoy going up to that. We usually provide the lunch, let them bring the lunch with them, the cold meal, and they stay and participate in the class and eat lunch through us but up at Bethany. So they seem to enjoy that. And everything's going well. Everything's up and working. Our bus has been situated and that's been working out better now. It's doing good. Everything's smooth and we're rolling along.
Thank you very much.
You're
does anyone
welcome.
have Any questions?
No?
Sorry, Lynn, you said that the event for Thanksgiving is gonna be at 12 p.m.?
12 o'clock. The music's starting at 11, but the dinner will be served at 12 o'clock. Anybody wants to stop by and see what's happening, come on by anytime.
Got it. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you all. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Next up, we have supervisor and town board announcements.
Okay, the Village Ossining train station parking permit renewal has begun for next year. Current permit holders have until December 16th, 2024 to renew their parking permits. After that, permits will open up to those on the wait list starting December 17th. Please check the Village of Ossining website or Facebook page for more information. Hudson Compost is a new company that will pick up compost at your door. New customers can join for free through the end of 2024. For more information, please visit their website at hudsoncompost.com. That's on top of our program at Cedar Lane Park, where you can drop off for free. The town has completely switched over to the Recycle Coach app. This free app can be downloaded to a phone or viewed on the town website. For information and the scannable QR code, please refer to the supervisor's update. The town is moving forward with their downtown revitalization initiative to replace the existing stage at Lewis Waterfront Park. We're looking for your input on the process. We will be posting flyers with the QR code links, or we have posted flyers with the QR code links to a survey that will help us determine in what way this new stage will be formed. The survey can also be found on the supervisor's update and on the Town of Ossining website. We're hoping that a whole bunch more people complete the website by November 28th. We really do want your opinion. The Northeast Etsy Artist Collective have decided to host their winter market at the Ossining Public Library. Shop handcrafted goods from local artists and crafters on Saturday, November 23rd from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Galata House is running their free Thanksgiving meals event again this year. The event will be on Sunday, November 24th at 1 p.m. at St. Anne's School Gym. If you would like to donate, please visit their website at www.galatahouse.org. And I believe that Scorduzio's Deli, who is going to be doing a lot of the cooking, is asking for anybody who has a free turkey that they are not planning on using, they could use that for this event. The Briarcliff Manor Sustainability Advisory Committee is going to be running the Holiday Swap event, weekend of December 7th. Please visit the Briarcliff Manor website for more information. It's an exchange of Christmas decorations, cards, gift wrap. You can go there and take your old stuff that you don't want or pick up new stuff or just swap it. It looks like a great program. Hudson Valley Books for Humanity has a lot of events these upcoming weeks. So for more information, all of these events from yoga to book clubs to all kinds of things, please visit their website at hvbooksforhumanity.com. Ossining Parks and Rec Department will be hosting their Breakfast for Santa on Saturday, December 7th. They will have 2 seatings that day, one starting at 9 a.m. and then the next starting at 10:30 a.m. You must register in advance, online or in person at the Recreation Office. For more information, please visit the Ossining Recreation website. The Bethany Artist Community is opening up the early registration for the 2025 Kids Create Camp. For more information about this fun and creative summer camp, please check out their website at bethanyarts.org. As always, Ossining Public Library has many events, including movies, crafts, meditation, tutoring, yoga, book clubs, art events, and more. Please see their website at ossininglibrary.org for more information. And that's it for me. Wait, hold on. The Loft LGBT Community Center has a lot of events and programs and resources, all dedicated to providing support to everyone who's a part of the LGBTQ+ community, including many virtual and in-person support groups and clubs for a multitude of different topics. For example, this Thursday, November 28th at 10 a.m., there's a virtual event called Thanksgiving Conversation, which allows people to relax and connect after a potentially stressful holiday. Please check out their website at loftgaycenter.org for more information. And please look out for the toy drive boxes. The Ossining Boat and Canoe Club Holiday Toy Drive and the Toy for Tot Drive boxes are coming out. Some are already out and some are coming in the coming days. Thank you.
I do.
Okay.
Just want to remind everyone, Saturday, November 30th is Small Business Saturday. So I would encourage everyone to visit all of our wonderful small businesses in Ossining. And I know I may be making an assumption, but I'm pretty sure look out for messages from the Ossining Chamber of Commerce. I know they always come out and promote our local businesses.
Anybody else? Oh, one more. I isn't on here. The Baker Collier Cheer Fund is starting their collections for the Christmas basket. Last year, I think they served how many families, Angelo? 360? Okay,
So they could sign up at their local house of worship.
okay. So anybody who needs a basket from the Baker Collier Cheer Fund can sign up at their local house of worship, or can look on the Baker Collier Cheer. They have a webpage also. And for people who would like to donate to help fill these baskets, please also go to the Baker Collier Cheer website or find John Crawford. Okay. Thank you. Sorry.
No problem. Is there any public comment on the agenda items? Seeing no one in Zoom or in person, we're off to board resolutions. flexible spending accounts for town employees. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining authorizes the supervisor to sign the employee implementation agreement with Lifetime Benefit Solutions, 333 Butternut Drive, Syracuse, New York, 13214, for the purpose of administering flexible spending accounts for healthcare and dependent care for town of Austining employees for plan year January 1st, 2025 through December 31st, 2025. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Finance 2024, solar lighting Cedar Lane parking lot and dog park, project number 2024-5261 Parks. Result that the town board of the town of Austining authorizes establishing 2024 capital project number 2024-5261 entitled 2024 solar lighting Cedar Lane parking lot and dog park for the town parks department. With a project budget of $40,000, the capital project will be funded from a Community Resiliency, Economics, and Sustainability and Technology Program CREST grant. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Finance 2024, solar Cedar Lane Art Center roof, project number 2024-5262 Parks. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining authorizes establishing the 2024 capital project number 2024-5261 entitled 2024 solar Cedar Lane Art Center roof for the town parks department with a project budget of $60,000. The capital project will be funded from a Community Resiliency, Economic Sustainability and Technology Program CREST grant. Do I have a motion?
So moved. A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Agreement Dormitory Authority of the State of New York, be it resolved, the town board hereby authorizes the supervisor to enter into an agreement with the Dormitory Authority for the State of New York for a grant of $100,000 for the renovation of the playground in Gerlach Park. Do I have a motion?
So, and a second.
I do want to thank our senator and for all the money this is $200,000 worth of funding that both Elijah Reichland, Melnick, and Pete Harcum have given to our community. So anyway, I just wanted to mention where that came from. So anyway, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Is there anybody who would like to address the board on issues not related to the agenda but are relevant to the common good of the town? Seeing no one, can I have a motion to adjourn to work session?
So moved. And a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, just give me 1 second to put the fee schedule up on the board. Go, okay. Get bigger maybe. Better. Just trying to make sure that you guys can see. Okay, so we are in part 2 of our discussions for the 2025 fee schedule. And just to give everybody kind of a brief reminder of the stuff that we discussed back in our, I believe it was late October, early November meeting, I forget the exact date. We had gone over a couple of the changes that were implemented according to the board's wishes. So one of those first changes was on page 3, specifically with the cabaret licenses. So we have changed the annual licensing fee to $300. We've gotten rid of the fees for anybody applying after July 1st, and there's no more renewal application for 30-day extension. We did change our credit card fees, as we had discussed before. The online fees are going to be 3% of an additional cost per transaction. And in person, it's going to be at a 3.1% because there's 2 different vendors that are supplying our credit cards. After that, we did change the non-resident use of Cedar Lane Park, Cedar Lane and Ryder Dog Parks at $25 per dog. That's going to be the fee being forward. We are also, for the food scraps program, we did change it to say if you're doing via check, it's going to be $20 for the food scraps residential kit. If you're going to be doing it online via Seamless Stocks, there is a 3% charge, so it'd be $20.60. Same stuff for the compostable bags. If you want to pay it in person, it's going to be $2, but if you want to do it online, it's just going to be $2.06. Again, with that 3% surcharge. After that, we had discussions, so we're going to return back to the parks. The only other thing, 2 other things that we had requested had been the taxi cabs and the tow trucks. And we had just gotten to the decision that we were just going to basically take what was in the village fee schedule and put it into the town fee schedule. So some of those changes included having the fare within the town or between town and the village be at $6. per ride with an additional $1 for any additional passenger. And as per like the village, there is one child 5 years of age or under will ride accompanied for free by an adult passenger. There's also kind of a lot of other topics that were in the village fee schedule that we have brought over to the town, which is kind of like a general rule that had been, we're just putting it more on paper. More specifically, the rate is to be displayed on the right and left rear doors, as well as regulations regarding baggage, tips, out-of-town trips, and the transportation of animals. And the rest we have just gotten rid of. The other stuff that we had. We did add, again, from the village, the taxi cab license owners, it's $250 per vehicle. A taxi cab driver's license / ID is at $145. A replacement fee for lost or stolen license is at $25. A replacement fee for medallion decal is $25. And the transferable medallion is going to be $100. Following that, we did update our call a cab coupons from $475 to $6 per coupon, which is what it's the current rate at the moment. And then regarding the towing services and agreement, again, we removed what we had in our fee schedule and just brought over what was in the village's fee schedule. The tow truck operator's permit at $350 per vehicle, tow truck driver's permit at $145. And then regarding storage and storing charges at $150 for maximum for straight tows, a tow hookup fee at $75, and per day for storage after first 24-hour period at $30. So this is taken directly from the 2024 fee schedule that the village had. I did call this clerk's office this afternoon to see if anything was going to be changed for 2025. They said no, the rates are remaining the same as 24 to 25.
Okay, question. All of these changes will come into effect January when we adopt our new, when we do a reorg. So
Yes,
they don't
this-
go into effect now, they go into effect as we adopt them during our reorg meeting in January.
Yes, correct. These are all
Just
for
confirm
reorgs.
it.
It's for 2025. So the other part of this discussion that we wanted to begin is regarding our rentals. So let me see, I'm not sure if Bill Garrison is on logged in, but I'll start the conversation and Liz can continue from there. So our rental fees specifically for our pavilions and our picnic areas. Currently, we have them at $225 for 4 hours, $25 for any additional hour for our pavilions. And these are our Ryder, Gerlach, and Cedar Lane. For picnic areas at Engle Park, we have them at $75 for 4 hours and then $25 for any additional hour following those 4. What is being proposed is perhaps creating a system in which residents pay a different fee and non-residents pay another fee. So that is one topic of discussion that we're having today. And then the other area that we're looking to discuss is specifically related to the Cedar Lane Arts Center. We have the room rentals right now at $30 per 3 hours. That's the current rate. The superintendent of the recreation department, Bill Garrison, has proposed having instead a resident and a non-resident fee. And again, this is just open for discussion, from going to $50 per hour for residents and then non-residents having it be $100 per hour. And my apologies, that's a typo at the end. So that is an area of discussion to have as well for today that we wanted to discuss. And then following up, it's just a discussion of, organizations using our parks, but charging, people to come or attend and be at the parks. So that is a discussion. And again, the supervisor will speak more on this. It's the, having the nonprofits versus profits and, people making money out of hosting events at the park.
Right.
But I'll let you guys go from there.
So what do you want to tackle first? Let's tackle the easier, let's talk about the fees. Okay, so I see, and is Bill Garrison with us? Okay, I mean, I do notice, and I'd really like for him to give us some background information on just how many people are coming from out of town to rent. In particular, I'm noticing our picnic areas at the waterfront, as opposed to our local residents. I know sometimes the local residents get it, but sometimes it's filled up with non-residents. So I think having a difference in fees makes sense for, at least for the picnic areas. I actually do believe it makes sense for the pavilions as well. our taxpayer base, pays for the maintenance and upkeep and staffing rooms already that we're utilizing. It makes sense for a non-resident to pay a slightly larger fee as they are not paying into the tax base, from my perspective. Does anybody have?
Yeah, I agree with you, but
Yeah,
I-
I agree. I just think, we definitely should give our taxpayers and our community members first shot and, they already pay, like you said, taxes on maintenance of the parks and all that, so I definitely would like to. give them
I
first-
don't know that we can give them first shot because you don't know who's gonna plan and they're planning parties, so.
At least the difference in price at this.
But a difference in price, so we'll have to talk with the recreation superintendent about what he thinks is fair, but does anybody have an idea of what number they think?
I don't want to just pick a number. I think that we should look at the surrounding municipalities and take a look and see what they have, and we can decide to do similar, medium, something like that. I don't think we should just pick a number. I do agree we should have two different fees for resident and non-resident. There are some municipalities around here, which I will not name, that won't even allow non-residents in their parks, which I do not think is cool. So I think that we should allow outside people to use our facilities, but at a, slightly higher rate.
Can I also clarify what we mean by resident versus
Yes.
non-resident? We're
Yeah.
talking about any of the village areas that are within the town of Austining, correct? So we're talking, and I'm not trying to put words in anyone's mouth. I just want clarification.
Yeah,
The
Yeah.
village of Austining and the large portion of the village of Briarcliff Manor that is in the town of Austining.
right,
Okay,
so.
as well as obviously the unincorporated town,
Anybody who pays taxes to the town of Austining.
which is what I understood
Yeah.
from
Exactly,
the
yes.
comments that were made. I just wanted to make sure we were all clear.
Yeah, which includes what, 93% of. the
It is a
Briar-
large portion.
Yeah, and,
yes.
just not the tree streets.
But that's a distinction that's been made as far as the town goes in the past with respect to your dog parks and other sort of it's a distinction that's been made and consistently in the past.
Yeah, so, since our parks are maintained through our general fund,
Yep.
and it's all the villages and the unincorporated all pay into the general fund, it's the 200 fund that
Yep.
we differentiate.
We're all on the same page.
yeah, I agree with you, Jen. Also, to your point about looking at other municipalities, I also would like to see any of the usage info that we have available from last year, the year before.
Right, so
What's coming from-
they do take the address when they reserve the park, so we should be able to pull that information fairly easy. Okay, now, this one's a little harder. We're just gonna get harder as we go.
Lay it on us.
So. Bill is suggesting that we occasionally. Rent out the art center room, which is the one with the. Stage in it, the little performance area, the little theater area. For the Arts Council to meet or other entities to meet. Currently it's at $30 for 3 hours. Sometimes scout troops come and do a project there or something like that. He is proposing that it matches the rec center's rates for their rooms. I think the rooms are a little bigger. Where the residents are $50 an hour and the non-residents are $100 an hour. I'm personally not there. But I'd like to have a discussion about what the board members feel. I think that $50 an hour for a brownie troop or, it gets to be a lot for an organization.
Yeah, that's too much for a
You know?
organization like that.
So I think there should be a place for not-for-profits. The reasoning is that, we have to have somebody there. We have to have somebody to open the door and, to pay somebody to go open the door, that $30 barely covers, we're not making anything.
Well, we have liability with people there too.
Right, so
Is it $30 that's
for the
total?
3 hours, the
So
total.
all
for the
3,
3 hours.
so it's $10 and
Right,
Okay.
so I mean, we could probably up it a little bit,
Yeah.
but I'd like to hear what the board thinks about those numbers.
Can we differentiate? Is it fair to differentiate
No,
nonprofits from profits? Like there, I don't know.
Well, that was,
give that to Christie.
that was a question I was going to ask based upon the supervisor's initial statement, because on the screen, it says residents versus non-residents.
Right.
But the supervisor said not for profit, so I think we have to be clear about what distinction we're trying to make, because previously we were talking about residents and non-residents. Here, it doesn't seem like we're making that distinction.
Yeah.
Right, and I will say occasionally people rent it for a birthday party, or an event. It's a very low cost,
Do we know how much usage they've had?
not very much.
No.
It's
Just
not,
past
it's
year?
not really out there.
No, it's not out there.
Should
But
we
it could-
just,
But it could be attractive to,
To a lot
lot
of
of
people
people.
should know that we're talking about it. yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, right,
So if we're. I mean,
so it would be a regular resident, and not-for-profit organization or a regular business. I guess we could make distinctions. We could just go like the village and make it, so high nobody wants it.
is that where these numbers came from?
The village is, that's their current
Okay,
rent fees to rent buildings, which are much, I mean, honestly, they're much bigger than ours. They have furniture, ours, it's an art center. There's clay or paint. Could be anywhere.
is there limits of time that they could rent? Is this a 24-hour rental? Then I mean, or no?
We don't have anything set up to, typically nobody rents it overnight. We could limit it, I mean, we can't rent it when there are art classes in there. There are often art classes in there. We could, limit it to when Keith is already there teaching in the other room, and he said he would oversee it. We do have one of the art, clay students that has been around for a long time, offering to, oversee.
I mean, I like the
For-
prices for the residents and non-residents, but then, I'll always go back that if a nonprofit wanted to use it. I'm in favor of waiving the whole thing.
So can we waive fees for not-for-profits? And
as long as you're consistent across the board. And we have to talk about, which I imagine we will, what a nonprofit means. Is it a nonprofit corporation as organized by, as registered with the state of New York? Is it a 501c3, which has higher standards associated with it and is tax exempt? It's easier to just be able to go on the Secretary of State's corporation search and see if something is registered as a not-for-profit and a lesser standard than compared to something that goes through the efforts to become tax exempt.
but if we use Liz's example as like a brownie troop or a Boy Scout troop, they don't go through 501c3, do they? But they do.
and there's an added.
So-
They're
with
not
the-
profit, they're just not maybe a 501.
Right, but they're-
C3,
yeah.
But they're not for profit status.
Well, I guess if they're, maybe 501c3 is a little bit too narrow. Something that has achieved tax exempt status,
Okay.
is that more
Yeah.
of what the board would be
Yeah,
looking for?
yeah. So I'm wondering if we can do like a 4-tier. What you're kind of talking about is like a 4-tier fee schedule. So you have like non-for-profit, private organizations, residents, meaning like birthday parties, and then non-residents. Is that what you're saying, like a 4-tier fee schedule?
It could be, I mean,
Because then
we
we
could do
could go-
anything, but
we
we have to
can-
be consistent as Christie said.
Wouldn't the
Right.
organization just fit under the resident, non-resident, since it's probably the same?
I guess.
Yeah, I mean-
But it would be hard to, I guess, distinguish like someone throwing a birthday party as opposed to a Christmas party. Like, if that's what you mean.
Well, yeah, I mean, if somebody.
Or somebody trying to do a fundraiser as
Fundraiser.
opposed to,
the-
I mean, that room doesn't really lend itself to a fundraiser, it's tiny.
Yeah, how many?
Oh,
occupancy?
and-
What's the occupancy?
And we also have to keep in mind that, they tend to leave art projects around, play projects around, so,
Right, yeah.
but that's on that, for leaving them. But
What, has anyone asked to rent it yet?
I think the Arts Council's been using it for their. But they're used to art, so.
But see,
For their
my
meetings,
feeling
they,
is,
they
I
lost their home at Steamer, so.
I was gonna say, for the Arts Council, I don't think we should charge an organization like that. They're not. Private, you know, they're not a
Right,
private.
so if that organization, so maybe another not-for-profit. That is bigger and.
And I wonder whether this is a bigger or more
Bigger
expansive conversation, not just specifically related to the Cedar Lane Arts Center, but to all town facilities.
Oh, that's our
All
next
town,
conversation.
into
exactly,
that.
but
Right,
I'm
we'll
wondering
bring
if
it
that,
to the
if that,
next one.
I'm wondering if that should be a, like, a more. Like comprehensive conversation, like we're talking, or the board is talking about it right now in the context of Cedar Lane Art Center. But is this just part of a bigger discussion about how the board rents
Right.
out their public spaces?
Right, and the challenge with, as much as we all want to give it for free, there's staff time associated with opening it, cleaning it, preparing it, making sure it's locked, possibly overseeing it in any iteration of facility. So as much as we want to give it to free for everybody, there is a cost associated
Uh-huh.
that we don't necessarily want the taxpayer to bear without the people who are hosting something to have responsibility for.
Yeah,
So lots of different angles, and I'm not saying we're gonna solve it today. Okay,
And what the appropriate uses are for these types of facilities, whether they should be income generating or whether they're intended to be for private use or for some sort of not-for-profit, as we were talking about in that context.
right, and as far as the art center goes, do we want to art type events or?
you know, I would actually, in talking about with the Arts Center, I would actually like to bring in, I'm sorry, who's the gentleman? Yeah,
Keith.
I would actually kind of like
And
to
Bill.
bring, I would like to bring Keith and or, you know, and Bill into this conversation because I personally have never been in the Arts Center.
which
I think
is-
Keith has a better understanding of the facilities. You said people have their art projects all around. I don't know.
I did notice that they were, I was talking to him, about cleaning it up so that the room could be used but for other purposes other than just the art.
Yeah,
I did see that there were projects around and, we do have other areas for storage. But that's
and I
another
think,
conversation with him.
and I think Angelo had a point, like, we don't know what is the room occupancy, like, what, you know.
We don't know. It's a small one.
Yeah, so I think we have a lot of questions that we. need to
Okay,
ask.
and had, you know, unfortunately, Bill hasn't been able to join us and I think he would have had that information for us.
Okay.
So we can table this one
Yeah. I agree.
too. I mean, we're not gonna be voting on our fee schedule and we can always talk about it, you know, near, right before we were.
Yep.
I don't know. Okay. All right, on to the next, one,
Uh-huh.
which is
Ryder, Gerlach, Cedar Lane.
our pavilions, our stage, our beach, which we only really, we don't rent the beach, but we do let one not-for-profit use it in February, when it's not, you know. Sorry. Anyway. I personally don't think that people should be allowed to segregate, or charge, you know, charge to enter our public parks. I think that, you know, it's been tried. I think, you know, if one person does it, more people might start wanting to do it, and I think the park should be available for the public. I know that, other groups have events, not-for-profit groups have events. And I think that maybe we should have those as donation events as opposed to ticketed events. So that if someone's having a benefit concert, they're not selling tickets to it, but they're asking people to donate to the concert. That way nobody is collecting a direct fee at, you know, and isolating an area that nobody else can go into. I know that, well, if you want to talk about it, I know that, we talked about, you know, when somebody rents a, birthday party area. We generally don't have other people in the area in that specific barbecue area. But other people are allowed to use nearby or walk through. So do you want to speak to differences or no? Okay,
I mean,
I know you've mentioned it before.
I
so-
think there are differences and nuances in how this works out. And that's been one of the challenges. For instance, you could have someone a private resident who decides to have a party and say, hey, guys, like, I'd like you to give me $20 to cover the costs of that. You know, how do we really monitor that? Whereas I think if we're delineating it by individual, not-for-profit, in whatever way the board decides to define not-for-profit, something that's tax exempt, and then a different type of entity, I think that might make it a little bit cleaner in terms of how to enforce it. But I don't think, you know, there's any way to ever definitively say that no one will ever charge someone else money. I think the way is to think of it more comprehensively, and what we're trying to see not happen, which is what the supervisor was saying, which is people not feeling like they are not welcome or able to be included in the park. And so I think that depends upon the areas you're renting, right? Because like you were saying, if you're renting a specific area for a party or something personal, you don't expect other people to be able to come into that area, right?
Right.
Whereas if you're renting maybe the stage or something like that, then that's a larger type of event. And so that may be, there may have to be some delineation there.
Okay, I am in favor of having the stage area, you know, whatever you're hosting, people can walk through at any time, open to. I do not, yeah, I don't think that area should be cordoned off, and I think that even if you're having your blues festival or your jazz festival or whatever it is that are being proposed, that, you know, if you choose to make a donation is one thing, but they should make their, you know, their money through the vendors and the food trucks that come and things like that.
I actually have I have 2 points. One is, I think during the weeks that our concert series takes place, I don't think the Louis Engel area should be available, the stage area should be available for rental at all. Something could happen, something could go wrong, and then that would lead to something happening on a Friday night. So I think during the weeks that we have our Friday night concert series, the stage should not be available for rental. That's one.
So not on Saturday afterwards.
No, I do not. The second is, I don't think that we should delineate between nonprofit or profit in terms of whether people are allowed to use the park. I don't think anybody should be able to sell tickets or anything like that, because same thing like you said,
Right.
you cannot limit, even if someone was doing that, there's a path behind the stage. Can't stop people like to walk around
Oh,
like
you
the
have
path.
to have those
Can't
things.
stop people, yeah, so I just don't like that idea. If people wanted to have an event and raise money, they can have food trucks, vendors, like, you know, people can, and that way, anybody who's around can come and purchase something. But I don't think that it should be any type of, I don't think we should allow anyone to give any reason to kind of corner off a part of the park. It's just, it just is, it causes problems, and there's no way to contain it. It's impossible.
Can I just clarify one thing that you said? You made a distinction between profit and not-for-profit. So are you saying, and again, not trying to put words in your mouth,
No.
but I'm just trying to understand,
Yeah,
that you could anyone could rent it as long as they don't charge money. So it's not the profit, not for profit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
you're
think there should
proposing.
be, yeah,
Okay.
I don't really feel like there's a reason for a distinction. Who could rent it for what? I just think that in terms of like selling tickets, trying to keep a certain area of the park that anyone walking by like can enter, that there's just no way to be able to contain that. And I just find it problematic. And if somebody wanted to have an event and raise money, there's other ways to do that. That, like I said, they could have food trucks, they could have vendors. And that way, whoever's walking by, they're making a purchase, and then that person that wants to fundraise is possibly can keep a portion of the profits. I mean, I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of it. I'm just making
If
an
I understand,
example.
if I understand what you're saying you could rent the stage, but you can't rent the park.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No?
What I'm saying is, if you try to have an event and sell tickets, that automatically gives someone a reason to not allow someone just walking by to enter into the area. There's no way to quote unquote police that, because you can't put up. Anyway, I just don't think, I don't think it's a good idea to limit anyone entering the confines of a park.
All right,
Okay,
so I'm
but-
hearing that all events should be open to the public. And yeah, whatever the event, whoever rents it for whatever, the stage area, we're talking specifically right now, should be open to the public. Anybody can come and join the event.
Right, and if someone wanted, if that's not something that's agreeable to a person or an organization, then they should have their event in an enclosed space and not an open park.
So you are contemplating the possibility of, for instance, someone having a birthday party or something like that. And someone says, well, I wanna come hang out with you guys or something like that.
Well, let's just,
Don't have your birthday party on the stage.
well,
But that's,
no,
but are we, I guess that's the point. Are we talking about the stage or are we talking about the parks generally?
well, the parks generally, so I'm just gonna, you brought it up, so 7 years ago, I rented the Luango Park, and I had a birthday party, and I had a DJ, and I had food trucks, and blah, blah, blah. I did not stop anybody from coming and stopping by and enjoying the music that was being played. Anybody that wanted to purchase food, all good. Like, I did
That was
not.
the stage area, right?
Yeah, it was by the stage. You can't, like, someone wanted to walk by, was enjoying the music. I wasn't gonna stop them from being there. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think it's right. It's a huge park and people like to be down there. I just don't think it's right to try to keep people out. And I think it's too difficult and it causes problems and it's just not worth it. It's not worth the aggravation.
So for me, I think I agree with you on the stage area. But if somebody's having their 5-year-old's birthday party, I think they can have the space to at least the barbecue space. Maybe not.
Well, don't you want the
Not really,
Ryder,
because they're just gonna be running around.
But
using
it's,
the playground
it's
equipment, so-
open,
Ryder, Gerlach, Cedar Lane, and the picnic areas at Angle Park?
So the
If somebody
specific
rents that,
pavilions.
that's exclusively the person who
Yeah.
rents it, right?
Pavilion. is-
We're really talking about it. This whole
Pavilion-
conversation comes up at the stage, right?
right. The-
How do we have an event at the stage, AKA like our Friday night river jam, right?
Mhm.
Pretty much, we don't exclude anybody out. People come in, they pay what they want, but there's fees involved to run an operation like that too.
But no one pays to attend,
Nobody pays to attend, they just fine, but as far as us, the town, we have fees
right,
to run that event,
right.
right? Our staffing, to make sure the garbage gets cleaned up and all that
If
stuff. So
people-
that's where,
If
Right.
people are hosting if people are having an event, say, unfortunately, the village is closing Main Street for the year, at least 1 year, if not 2 or 3. And many of the events that take place in Main Street are gonna come ask us. And I think we really separately have to look at how many we actually want, as opposed to letting people actually enjoy the park without an event going on, separate conversation. But say the Portuguese festival comes. But they allow anybody to walk through. and they have all their vendors and everything, and they will pay an event fee to the recreation department to be able to use the park and cover the cost of our staff and the police, or whatever needs to be done. So the size of the event will be paying a event fee. If it's a simple barbecue rental is one thing. If it's an event, we have a whole,
Yeah,
Set
where is
of-
that? Is this in the fee schedule, Martha? I couldn't find this one in the fee schedule for the stage
I
area
think that's in the
alone.
recreation. Or where's the fee schedule for the?
Just the stage area. I know, I understand Ryder, Gerlach, Cedar Lane, picnic areas, but.
Well, the rental is one thing, the event fee is another.
Oh, okay.
So if you're renting it for the stage to go up and have your wedding for an hour. Because you want to have it there with your family around you, that's one thing. It's not really an event, a big event that people are coming to, you're using it quickly.
We still have to apply for it.
But you
through
still
the
have
rec.
you still have to go through the rack and apply for it, but you know, it's a smaller event, or you know, it's a small size one event, you know, a tiny event. Is one fee, and as opposed to you're expecting 200 people, as opposed to you're expecting 1,000 people. You know, there are different tiers for the event fee, and we have a whole policy on that already, which I think.
The,
is
the
pretty
town
good.
has two separate chapters. There's one related to parks. And there's one related to special events, which we mirrored somewhat off of the village's policy.
Right.
And that was for consistency because we have a joint recreation department. So, I mean, in conjunction with whatever comes out of this conversation, we can certainly put together while revising the fee schedule, a draft local law to amend it as appropriate. If we need to be more specific as it relates to the stage or what the town board is looking to see if the fee schedule isn't necessarily the appropriate place to have it.
So we're in agreement that we don't want the stage to have exclusive rights to anybody. It's gotta be open to the public, even if somebody wants to use that area.
And
Is
who
that
do you
true?
want to be able to use that?
If they pay the fee. And they're leaving the stage area open.
And they also have to get, I'm sorry, explain it to me, I think in legal terms. Don't they all have to also get an addendum? They have to get their own, an extra insurance policy?
If if it falls under the realm of a special event, yes,
Okay, so I have to,
as defined in the code.
you have
yeah.
to like indemnify the town.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's less about, sorry,
No, go ahead.
I'm just trying to understand. So it's
Mm,
less
mm.
about what type of person or entity is using it and more about the manner in which they're using it and that they're not precluding anyone else or charging for anyone else to be involved in that area. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm not sure that that's where I'm at.
Okay.
I am very much opposed to any sort of ticketing, ticketed events, but I am curious, I guess, what sort of private events somebody would be renting aside from, you know, a birthday party or a large scale nonprofit using it. Before I could contemplate kind of what different, why there wouldn't be a different schedule.
Some of the things that have come up, you know, we had the School of Rock and when it was the Westchester dance artists in collaboration with some of our music schools, with, you know, having events for, to showcase their kids' performances. They don't typically charge a ticket fee, anybody can come watch the performances, but it's kind of an end of the year, or it's a bigger stage, it's a bigger venue for them to be able to have all the families that don't necessarily fit into their studios or whatever it may be. We have the people who rent it for the Blues Festival, we have it. Occasionally there's a wedding down there, I don't think it's really what we're.
But you envision them
contemplating.
paying, so they don't have a special event permit
All of
and paying.
everybody.
and
goes
not,
on it.
that's it.
So there's, you know, there's a special event permit filled out and, you know, so sometimes, if we're partnering for, say, Juneteenth. Because we're partnering, there's no fee, because the town is sponsoring the event, so Earth Day or something like that. There's a lot of nuances to.
But in
who
any
does it,
situation,
And I'm anticipating that a lot of the events that are typically held on Main Street, I think, I heard rumor that, two different entities on the same day would like to hold the village fair down there, and I'm not sure I'm in favor of having the village fair that far off the village. You know, we for Earth Day go through a lot of hoops to get MTA to give us the parking lot. And I don't think we'll be able to do that again, so then we're relegated to the 12 spaces that we have. And that's a daytime event, whereas our concert series starts after Metro North lets you park for free. So I think there's a distinction about what time of day an event is. And what kind of parking there is, so if it's on a weekend, well, I guess it's a weekend, so Metro North will let you park, but
Can our,
they won't let you set up tents there.
and right now, our fee schedule doesn't differentiate between size or anticipated size of crowd.
No, so this is what I was gonna answer that Angela asked before. So currently, right now, our fee schedule doesn't have any of these special event permit fees on it at the moment. I think it's kind of been like the idea that, you know, like kind of like the taxi cabs and kind of like the towing, that like the recreation department, which falls under the village, just kind of charges those fees and it's on their fee schedule. Now, but the idea that, you know, Christy was bouncing off was if we could add it, if you guys wanted to the fee schedule. The village does have theirs directly on the fee schedule. What we do have is like the different levels with the different participation in the actual code. So if you go to chapter 166 of the code, then you do have it divided up, the 3 event levels. You know, event level 1 at 299 people at most, event level 2 between 300 and 499 people, and then level event 3 at over 500 people. So we do have it distinguished in the actual code, but not in the fee schedule. But like I said, if you guys wish to add to the fee schedule to make it much more clear, not having, you know, people go to different places to references, then that could be an option that we could add for 2025.
Or perhaps at least in our fee schedule for the stage in particular, to say, you know, please refer to the event schedule for additional, you know, depending on what you're doing. And if you're gonna rent, if you're that guy that likes to roll around on that, big ring, and you rent the stage to just kind of roll around for a while and practice on the stage, and you're not an event at all, that could be one thing. And if you're, you know, expecting people to come see you when you're on the stage is another thing. So maybe we should have a reference to the event policy on the fee schedule. You know, yes, you can rent the stage for X. We may not charge a ticket to come see you on said stage. And please refer to our event policy. For, you know, for further information on what you might be thinking about it.
So do we, I mean, because right now, like, it references directly the village fee schedule. Is this something like we were talking about with towing and taxes? We don't want it to say related to the village. We want it physically in the town. So we would be adding it to the town then, correct,
That would be
Christy?
my preference.
Yeah, so we
let's do
would.
that.
So let's add that. Okay.
And then I would make a recommendation, resident and non-resident, two should be 2 different prices.
I also think we should have a different fee schedule specifically for the waterfront. Period.
Well, yeah, we're talking specifically for the stage of this in this. And resident, non-resident, the barbecue areas and the stage area are one thing. Pavilion, I think we can, in my opinion, go with resident, non-resident.
And the picnic areas down at. Ankle
The
Park.
the picnic area is resident.
Resident, non-resident, and the special permit, you're not just thinking about having 2 different prices, resident, non-resident for.
For the
special events?
stage?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's probably a good idea too. But
My only
Yeah.
question is like you guys were saying, but if we're doing a stage event as a special event, there's the different levels to it. Would be
yeah,
good,
we're
be,
following-
yeah.
At that point, we're following the village schedule.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you're
know
not
that
allowed
we
to
really
collect
want-
tickets, how do you count the people that you're gonna pay for, and there's different threshold, right?
You can see how many people are there.
I think or at least the objective is more what's happening once it's rented, right? Like
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing from this board, correct me if I'm wrong, is making sure that even if someone is renting the stage as a special event permit, there will be additional restrictions on that use in that the public cannot be precluded from accessing it. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Right,
that's
you
what I
cannot
think.
charge a specific ticket to enter our park. And you cannot preclude people from being able to walk through the.
Park or the Engle Park waterfront? I just want to be clear on that distinction.
We're gonna have to think about, people are applying to use, Cedar Lane Park for Halloween events. And I don't know if anybody's looking at Ryder Park for fall events. But it is not necessarily confined just to the waterfront.
Yeah, because someone can rent a pavilion in Ryder and still, there could be people showing up with their kids using the playground.
Yes, but they
Like
can't
you
go in the
don't-
pavilion, right? They can't go in the pavilion if somebody's rented a
Right.
pavilion.
Right.
But you can go use the park.
Right.
Use the parking lot.
Right, right. You can't like close off the whole park, you know, there's tennis courts. there's
But here, if
everything.
you use the stage, you can't close off the front of the stage, the
No.
back of the stage.
It's a different,
It's a
it's set
different
up,
ball-
yeah, it's
But like
different.
Cedar Lane Park, now you have an event up there. Can somebody go up there and just walk through Cedar Lane Park while this person's having an event at Cedar Lane? Obviously, I think yes, from what I'm hearing.
That's something we have to really think about.
Wait, does Cedar Lane have a pavilion? No,
Yes,
they do.
They do, but say,
That's
yeah,
separate.
say it's
The
separate
pavilion
from
should
a
be-
person
Yeah.
renting the
Yeah,
pavilion. Say
yeah,
it's
yeah.
a special event at Cedar
Right.
Lane Park, like
Yeah.
the supervisor brought
Yeah.
up. A person should be able to, a resident should be able to roam through that park while that event's going on.
Right, that's what I'm
Right,
saying.
so-
yeah.
walking their dog while that event's
Right,
going on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think we do have to distinguish. I think we have to look at each park, because they're not all equal. Distinguish what parts we want to rent out. And have the-
Exclusively.
Exclusively.
exclusively and have the people who are filling out the permit form. Have the
Understand the restrictions of
understanding
each area.
that like, this is the area that you're, you know, have exclusivity to. And not the rest, and also. To, I think Greg's point, I think you were talking about like how many people show up or whatnot. I think just out of curiosity, we could put also on the permit, how many people are you expecting to attend? Not that we're, you know, limiting. but-
No, we ask that on every.
Okay.
They're required because it's.
Okay,
They're required.
oh,
That's-
okay, okay.
That's how the event fees are
Oh,
charged.
okay,
And that's how we know if we need, additional parks crew,
okay, so there's, Alright.
traffic control, things like that.
okay, all right, I didn't know.
But once the person rents a pavilion exclusively. There really is no mechanism in place or enforcement
There really
to
isn't,
prevent them
Yeah.
from charging like a birthday party or anything, so we're gonna understand that.
I mean, our
We're
park
gonna
staff
understand
is
that.
around,
Yeah,
but,
but we're gonna understand that that's probably can happen.
Mhm.
well, they, you know,
Well, yeah, I mean, the town can't be responsible for policing that type of thing. But when it's a larger type of event, generally that does come out,
if they're
right?
advertising, you know,
Yeah.
hey, you have to spend $50 to be here, it's, you know,
Do we charge a refundable deposit of any sort?
yes.
Okay.
I think also you have to think about human nature and human nature. I would like, well, no, I was gonna say human nature, if I'm walking through any of these parks and I see someone having an event, I am not going to invite myself to participate. So I would like to think that people that, you know, see something going on, they're not gonna,
They were
you know,
respect.
yeah, they're gonna have a little,
It's
respect
it's more the nature of the event, right?
Right,
Whether
yeah.
it's a birthday party or a
Right,
concert.
right, right,
That-
right.
That's
right,
really, I think, the distinction.
Right, yeah,
But completely agree.
yeah.
Okay, so. Things we agree on. Nobody should be charging
It's the matter of,
any.
No tickets.
No ticket.
Yeah. No tickets.
so if a resident wants to run a river jam type thing, they can fill out a special permit. Special events,
mhm.
keep the park off under those circumstances, then run the event. If they want to.
In a similar, anybody can
Similar
walk
type.
through, but if you would like to buy from one of our vendors, if you would like to. Get a T-shirt, make a donation, whatever.
What was the board's thoughts about what Jen brought up about not allowing that during the summer concert series or during River Jam?
I'm just talking about the stage.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just concerned about any damage to the stage.
I'm just trying to come to like.
Yeah,
resolutions where
I
we've
mean,
met.
I think it was a lot last year, but, I mean, we had. 3 or for major concerts similar to the River Jam that were run by other groups
During the same time.
during the same time last year.
I mean, I don't want to shut anybody out at all.
I
um,
mean, we had the, Here Coffee and Beer with ENU and.
Yeah, no, I don't-
They all did one event on we have our Friday, they did Saturday.
Okay, I'm saying I don't want to shut anybody out at all. And maybe we, people are already starting to plan for 2025, so we can't really tell them like, oh, you can't do that. But perhaps, and only if you guys agree, I don't have to be right. But if you wanted to, do that going forward, and maybe starting 2026, then people can start organizing themselves and planning their events in May and June. Right? And then September. But if you don't agree and you want to rent it out, that's fine. I was just bringing it up because I just don't want any damage to come to the stage. Because we're getting a new one.
We're taking it down anyway. No.
Well, but I'm just saying, but I'm actually, the reason why I'm thinking of this at all is I'm anticipating the brand new one.
All right, so maybe not the day before the event, so we can be sure that our stage is actually functional for ours.
Maybe that.
Okay.
Maybe
That and the
Go
rain date,
Thursday
and,
night.
and the rain date. And the
Yeah,
rain date
yeah,
footage,
yeah.
those,
Yeah.
I understand, for the day before, so that
Yeah.
we know our event
Maybe
can
no
go on,
Thursdays. Yeah,
and then the rain
And
date.
no renting of the rain date.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good compromise.
Matt, do you have any thoughts?
No, I think it's a very broad-based, discussion. I'm wondering if you want to offer the stage, someone by naming rights.
Say that again?
I mean, the new one.
The new one,
Hmm.
to sell the naming rights, to someone who put their name on it and raise a lot of money. Give them a year or two naming rights.
I don't know.
Corporation.
Elon Musk stage.
I bet.
So, so we'll take these changes and put them into a new updated fee schedule. I am looking to organize it a little bit better. Right now it's like in a Word document. I think I'm gonna be moving it to an Excel to allow the changes to be made a little bit much better. The table in Word was not the best to edit this afternoon. So yeah, it was not the best to edit this afternoon. So I'm looking to change it to an Excel sheet and maybe rather than having it in like portrait mode, changing it to landscaping. So I'm gonna be working on that by the end of the year and we'll be implementing these changes as well, so it can be a little more clear and more understandable. But in regards to, I think you were saying, I think one of you guys were saying having that separate fees for like the waterfront, et cetera. With the new Excel stuff, I'll make sure to like highlight and be like, this is specifically for this, because as you guys can tell right now, the current fee schedule is just a really long blob of a table. So we're gonna try to make it a little bit more clear and more distinguishable. That's one of the projects. Yes, with different sections. That's one of the projects I really want to undertake before the beginning of the year. So we'll make these changes and go
You're not-
forward with that. There's not enough things to do in the office, but Evan and I will work on that together to put together. Mhm.
And
Not to give even more homework, but if there's possible to see kind of a few surrounding towns and what they do. Do you guys-
I'm making a note of that as well. So just to kind of summarize, so we're all on the same page. So yes, I did make a note to look at other municipalities and see how much they're charging to rent out their pavilions as well as their picnic areas. So we can kind of see see if they have a resident versus non-resident fee. I did make myself a note of that. We're gonna get more information on the Cedar Lane Art Center, specifically the room rental, speaking a little bit more with Bill Garrison, understanding who's using the history, as well as with Keith. So we'll get more information from then. We have, I believe, 2 more work sessions, I think, left for the remainder of the year. So we'll try to push it.
The
When's
last,
the
the last one
party?
is the town.
the
hall
recognition of the.
So,
For the board.
okay. And the
But
next
then we have a
one.
Work session before we have the reorg meeting. Don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. The only thing is if we want these to start 1/1 of 2025.
We can do it
Yeah.
in the reorg and have it start.
Okay, I just
We're gonna
wanted to,
be
yeah.
We're gonna be
Okay,
adopting the reorg. So.
okay,
We
just
can
wanted to make sure.
retroactive.
When is the
Yeah,
reorg?
retroactively. So following that, we have the other changes that were requested. Was we're gonna be adding the special permit events to our actual fee schedule to mirror what's in the village, and now there will be no referencing back and forth of that. Specifically for the stage, we're gonna be putting under it saying that you cannot charge no tickets to enter the area. And people are allowed to walk through the area. It's a walkable. There's no inclusivity for it. And that's all the notes that I have. Anything else? that you
There's
have
a
notes,
fifth
Ed?
Tuesday on December 31st, if anyone wants to hold a special work session.
It's New Year's Eve.
On New Year's Eve, yeah.
You
out here, we'll think about it.
schedule.
We'll do it at night, so we could.
There you go. Bring it
Bring in the New Year's with the fee schedule. Okay, so I'll make a note of that since we only have 2 remaining work sessions. If we can't make it to then we'll just push it to that first work session that we have. The beginning of the year,
January 7th.
January 7th. Go ahead.
Just one question, the special events permit, that also doesn't just go for our properties. It goes for anybody in the town has to apply for if they're having it on their own property, AKA St. Augustine's Festival.
Yes,
Yeah,
if
sure.
it reaches a certain threshold based upon number of participants, as Martha was saying.
And do you
Also,
need
whether do you
services?
need municipal services?
Okay.
There are some that are expressly exempt. But the ones that are automatically considered a special event, if you're gonna close a public street. If you're gonna block a roadway, amplified music that exceeds the noise code, sale of food or alcohol. If you need a porta potty,
And there's fees associated with that.
with that application and with that process, and it requires insurance of a certain level.
So this is the same discussion then, right, for those? here?
The problem is, it's not always, it's like the Venn diagram, right? So, it's not always a complete overlap.
Right.
So that's what makes it a little bit challenging, is that we have our parks regulations, we have the special event regulations, which came from the village and which we share because of our shared, recreation department. And then there's what we're talking about tonight. So I think we're trying to figure out how to make all of those coincide.
But I don't think that stops Bethany from charging to go to Oktoberfest,
No.
you know, because that's their.
That's-
property.
They're just
Absolutely.
triggering that, let all the other departments know that they're having this event going up by filling out this. special
Right,
permit.
but when they have it, they fill out, even though it's on their property and they don't really need anything, they do still fill out the event.
And I think what we're talking about here more is town property, town parks. That's why I think,
Right,
even though there is special event regulations that could apply in those situations, we're talking more about what happens in the town's parks, which may not always implicate special events. So I think this could be a little bit broader as it relates to the town property.
So that goes in the fee schedule on this one.
Or we could put it in the parks chapter of the code. You know, right now we have 138 is parks and 166, like Martha was saying earlier, is special events. So my thought would be to put it in parks, because I think that's more what we're talking about in this scenario. Rather than special event, because like I said, special event, you have to reach a certain threshold in order for that to be what it is. Whereas parks, anytime you want to touch a park, automatically that would apply.
and then. Not to make it more complicated, or separately. Because we're expecting so many events this
Mhm.
year coming up or in the next couple of years. I feel like every weekend day, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There should be at least a day that somebody could go and sit quietly at the park and enjoy it. I don't think we should allow, events every single day
Every
at
single
the
hour.
waterfront. I think that there's gonna be a lot of interest in moving every event to the waterfront. I think we should really think about how many events we wanna have in a week, in the summer, there should be days where people can go down and fly a kite with their kid or whatever. So, it can't always be set up for something, in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know how anybody else feels, but I think we need to. Think about, we're having a Friday night something, so maybe it could be a Saturday or a Sunday, but maybe not both.
See
Who,
what kind of demand we're gonna get.
who gives out the permit? The rec
Rec
office?
department, yeah, so
So I
we
think-
could block off days or say only one of the days or.
Well, I think, yeah, I think that whoever's looking at the calendar. You know, who's looking at what events are already planned, should have it in mind. That like, if there's already 2 events planned for a specific week, then they gotta move that person coming into the following week.
And it may be something you can apply for online and it's just a bunch of open days, so you may
Right.
need to
Block them.
have a conversation with Bill about how that could work. If we're thinking of limiting it. Or do we keep Sundays open, or do we, because, maybe Sundays, because we don't wanna pay double time to the parks people anyway. And we can guarantee that Sundays are
That's
the
a-
quiet day that you can enjoy the park.
That's a
or,
good idea.
or something
Right off
like
the
that.
bat, right off the bat, I like that. No events on
Every
Sundays,
other week.
no events on Sundays.
No events or no reservations. Like, you can't reserve any areas, like, because again, then we get into the nuances of our special events versus just someone reserving a pavilion.
Well, people can have their birthday party in the corners, but,
If they reserve an area.
right, so the barbecue areas, I don't think apply to that, but. Or we could just say the stage area,
Mm-hmm,
because that's really
Mhm.
where the challenges focus.
mm-hmm.
Okay.
So the stage area is not available. On Sundays?
The whole thing is very nuanced, that's the problem.
Yeah,
I-
that's
I-
why I'm just like trying to.
No, I
like,
know.
get into
Um,
it
that's-
so that I
yeah.
understand what we're trying to.
Yeah, no,
I
yeah,
guess my same question as before is what was who used the stage on Sundays last year? What are we now altering?
We had the Blues Fest.
Blues Festival, the Here Coffee Festival as well.
Right.
Your
the
coffee
Also
festival.
picked a Sunday. Which we did ask for, we charged. The amount, I mean, it doesn't have to be no Sundays, but we did charge the extra money to the applicant.
Mhm.
For the cost of the overtime.
Mhm.
We said, if you really wanna do it on a Sunday, I understand the cost for the park staff is, and the police are X.
Mhm.
As opposed to Y for a Saturday,
Yeah,
so that happened last year.
yeah, I mean, I get the point of having the day, but I also attended both of those events. I thought they
They were
all
great.
fun and should continue to grow, so.
Okay, so maybe not
Yeah.
knocking off all Sundays, alright, so.
Every other Sunday.
Saturday, one Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weekend day.
If one weekend
Yeah.
day is reserved for an
Yeah.
event, it states the other one should be, taken out.
Yeah.
And that's a conversation we need to have Bill, see if the
Yeah.
computer program can handle that.
Yeah, maybe we could talk to the entities that put on those things
Yeah.
last year and just tell them.
Yeah.
Book it sooner than later.
just be mindful of like how much, any particular week is.
Right, that's what I'm saying,
Yeah,
is,
like-
maybe have
We're keeping one weekend day.
one
but maybe
weekend
have
day
a-
available for people to just be.
Yeah, just be.
The only other request is, as we're talking about events that are gonna be coming in 2025, is the recreation center has asked for paperwork to be submitted in a timely fashion. So that is one thing that as we're entering to 2025, and like the supervisor was stating, we're anticipating much more events. We really have to have the deadlines to be met, because that's a very, very slippery slope.
Yeah, they
If
wanted
everybody,
75.
yeah.
What are the deadlines? That's what,
He's switching it to 75. The village
how
is-
soon can
is,
you make it? A year in advance? How soon can you book a date?
In January, we're gonna open things up
For the whole year.
summer season, yeah.
And you have up until,
And we need to also think about, other competing village fairs at the. Which we can not.
It's already been 75 days.
Yeah,
That's what's in the code. That's not.
Okay.
yeah, so the bill,
Recently
yes.
changed.
No,
No?
it's been in the
It's been
code
there?
apparently. Yeah, I just looked it up too, yeah.
Looking at the
Alright.
law that the town board adopted.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Then, Right.
So
So
they,
nobody
yeah,
kept doing that, and they're gonna hold people to it.
yeah, that's the other thing as we're going forward to
It
hold
just
them.
means we don't have to do a local law.
There you go.
It's an amendment. Yeah, so that's the only thing I just wanted to bring everybody's attention is they're really asking for the time to please, get everything in a timely fashion, the paperwork. That way everybody's not rushing at the end.
Good.
Thank you. All right. Thank you for joining us for our lengthy conversation. I think it was productive. And we'll have a
Motion?
motion to adjourn to executive session for advice of counsel, pending litigation
Personnel?
and personnel.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And thank you for joining us. See you.
We see them right before Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Top of my head, yeah, one more.
we
one
see
more.
them one. Okay.